Hello my inkies, and welcome back for your final video of September. I decided that I would make my A5 dashboards, and I stayed up until very late last night making some positive affirmation ones for my B6. So I thought I'd just show you the little bits and bobs that I did to the A5 ones before I move on to the next part of this video, which was a segue from these. So you'll see I'm just putting the final touches onto the collage sheets with my favorite pink marker, and also just measuring up my paper for the backs. So a little bit of background on today's video. Last night I was watching YouTube, as you do, and I watched a video by Seaweed Kisses, and she was talking about her Filofax setup, in particular her vision board. And I had done vision boards in the past, years and years ago, but I hadn't done them in a while. And she mentioned someone called Lisa Nichols, and so I went to the link and fell down the rabbit hole and decided that it was time to change the way I was thinking, and it was time to give myself a little credit, because I am the most pessimistic person when it comes to myself, and I will never congratulate myself. I am always telling myself I can do better, you could do better. I am never happy with what I've done or what I've achieved. I always think you could be doing better. So I decided it was time to change the way I was thinking and to change my outlook on life, because in the last few weeks I have felt my depression slowly creep back into the corners. So I decided it was time to make a change. So here you can see I'm putting the A5 dashboard in my Midori MD because I didn't leave enough gap for between the two dashboards. The MD is too thick, but it will slip fine onto a thinner notebook. So if you want to put it around an MD notebook, you need to make sure that your spine has a little bit more width between the two dashboards. And so I'm showing you here the retro B6 that you saw me do on camera, and then this is the one that I did at 1 a.m. So it's filled with positive affirmations that I am going to try. No, I'm not going to try. I am going to read them every day. So this is the segue for this journal entry. And it was a lot about self-love and self-affirmations that I need in my life. And I think, as all of us do, we're always putting ourselves down in one way or another. Me especially. I will find a way to put myself down all the time. So this is a little bit of a journal page that's sort of trying to change my mindset, and it's going to take me a while, but we got to start somewhere. So it's time for a little bit of self-love. Now I drew the girl on a watercolor background, just some splishy splashy stuff, and I used my pink color Inu mechanical pencil that you all know I love, and I am just filling out the face with some mixed up skin tones that I made. Nothing too fancy. I do zoom in a little bit in a moment so you can see what I'm actually doing at a closer level. I apologize for my autofocus. I forgot to change it to manual focus so it doesn't do the little jumpy bits. It always hates doing close-ups. And I'm using a mixture of Prismacolor pencils today, the Zig Cling color real brush, and my Daniel Smith watercolors. And so I'm just sort of working my way slowly on this face, just adding more depth to it as much as I felt like. It was very early this morning when I started this video because I was babysitting, and I have currently in my house 5 kids. So I'm trying to do a voiceover with 5 kids in my home at the moment. So I'm just adding shades of browns and creams and a little bit of warmth to the face, and just going with it, just adding bits and pieces wherever I feel the need. I have no rhyme or reason, I just kind of go with what I feel. And at the time I decided that watercolor and pencil was where I was at today. This is probably no secret, but when you're trying to get a little bit of depth in your face, you want to layer your colors from the lights to the darks. So start using your lightest colors, same with watercolor, and then move into your darks. So once you go black, you can't take that back. So I normally use a dark purple. When I get to my darkest shadows, I use dark brown, some grays, and sort of just blend everything together. So don't hit the dark spots first, work your way up to them. This is about the moment when I'm procrastinating and I'm trying to work out where I want this journal spread to go. I know what sort of feel I wanted it to be, but I wasn't quite sure where I wanted it to go or how I was going to get there. So I'm just using a Caran d'Ache Aquarelle pencil in the 4B, and that's like a water-soluble lead pencil, and it's great for shadowing lightly, very, very slightly. And then I use a semi-damp brush, not fully damp, but just damp, and I've wiped out the water, and I'm just using that to sort of push that lead pencil around and soften up the edges. And I actually really liked how it looked in the end. In a moment, you're going to see me get out my stencil I used in my last dashboard video, and someone asked what it was, and it is Dash Circle Dash in the 12 by 12 by Bolzer Designs. So I am just spraying some dilution sprays and rubbing the excess ink through the holes just to make a little bit of a patterned piece of paper, and then I throw the paper into my printer and print out a whole heap of positive quotes and positive affirmations. I really like doing that. It makes a unique background, something that you can't really buy. It's, random, no two pieces will be the same. And I start going to town with the scissors. I kind of know what I'm doing, and I'm just sort of feeling my way. This journal spread was very, what's the word? Odd. It was odd to start off with. I wasn't quite sure where it was going. I knew what I wanted. I just didn't know the pathway I was going to take to get there. So that's sometimes I have an idea of where I'm going with journal spreads, but this one was just all on gut instinct. I decided to pop the photo down that I used to be a cheerleader for Patricia. This is posted in the Inky Facebook group. If you're not part of the top tier Facebook group, I will leave a link down below. Please join. We have lots of fun. I know most of you were already there, but I'm just doing a shout out just in case. So I decided that I would pop that photo in as a reminder to you guys that I adore you, and also a reminder to adore myself. So I decided to use my neon pink post-its to create more hearts to sort of tie in that picture of the post-it heart. I have the original in one of my journals. I was going to put the original in there. It's been floating around. I've kept it. I don't know why. It just feels like it should stay with me for some reason. So I decided to use the post-it notes, which are a fantastic shade of pink. I have no idea where I got this post-it pad from, but I wish I'd bought like 20 of them, so I used them sparingly because they're so neon. Like, it looks neon in screen, and that's pretty close to color. So I am just adding my quotes randomly around the page. I was going to cut them up individually, and I do cut some of them up individually because they're just too big and they needed to be rearranged and cut down. And these are just quotes that I have either put on Pinterest and saved for myself randomly, or I went out and seeked, is that a word? New quotes for myself. And some of these quotes are on the dashboards that I made, and I need to start saying these things to myself. I need to start thinking more positively and trying to really change my outlook on life. I'm a pretty positive person about everything else, but when it comes to myself, that is when I am the least positive. So it needs to change. It really, really does. And if you are struggling with the whole aspect of self-love as well, then this journal spread is just for you. And I think that if that is a thing that comes up in your life, maybe you should be journaling along with me and doing an identical spread in your journal. And I've also printed these quotes and laminated them and put them in my wallet, in the front of my journal, in my everyday carry, in all different places. I've taped them to my makeup mirror, so they are everywhere. I want these quotes to be everywhere I look, so that I am constantly reading them, constantly reaffirming them, and constantly trying to change the way I think about life, myself, my goals, my dreams. I always think that I'm never going to reach my dreams, that I'm never going to be good enough for my dreams. Well, that shit stops now. Excuse my language. I recommend, if you're doing this spread in your journal for yourself, choose all your favorite things, all the colors you love, all the prints you love, all the pictures you love, all the things that you love, so that it is something you look at and you love, and then you start reading all those quotes that are staring back at you. If you have to look at that page, that spread over and over and over, then do it. I decided to make it like a little bit of a road map, or like a directional map, and put arrows to each of the quotes. So I have made sure that I start at the start and the arrows lead me to the next quote and the next quote and the next quote, so that I am reading them all. I'm not just glazing over one. Start at the top and follow the arrows. It's like my own little yellow brick road, only it's probably a neon brick road. And it wouldn't be my journal spread without some random graphic print, and that's what I like to do to fill in my spots. I love graphic prints. It just, I don't know what it is, but it makes my heart sing. And if I've got a bare spot in my journal, you'll be damn sure you'll see me make graphic prints in the corners. So this is where we are at currently, and I am just putting some highlights in the eyes with my white pen. And we're almost to the end of this video. This is your last video for September. I want to thank you guys so very much for your support. And I hope that you guys decide that a self-love post in your journal is much, much needed. I will talk to you guys very soon, and I hope you've enjoyed this video. Take care. Bye. Together and create something truly new and beautiful. And then I was thinking, how can I take this idea and run with it? And I am thinking about doing, because I'm known as the tip-in queen, I'm thinking about building tip-ins out of scraps, almost like a patchwork tip-in. So this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to do it on film for you guys. The tip-ins itself will be featured in the sewing book video, but the construction and how I make them will be featured on Patreon. So because I know that I want to do a tip-in video for the sewing book.